everyone. Let's get started with workbook pages 163 and 164 today. I am going to bounce around today. I am not going to ask you to answer all the questions, so just stay with me throughout the video so you know which questions I would like you to focus on. All right, let's start with number one. Number one says Carson and Lydia have same-sized pizzas. Carson cuts his pizza into eighths and eats 3/8. Lydia cuts her pizza into fourths and eats 1/4. So let's just think about that for a second before we read any further. This is the whole size pizza that Carson and Lydia both eat because their pizzas are the same size. Carson cuts his whole pizza into eighths. So I am going to go ahead and take my fraction tiles and I am going to build Carson's pizza cut into eighths. You can do this along with me with your own fraction circles. And pause the video at any time if I'm going too quickly, because I do have a tendency to talk a little bit quickly. Okay, so there's Carson's whole pizza. Now we need to build Lydia's pizza. Lydia cuts her pizza into fourths. So I'm going to use my 1/4 size pieces to build Lydia's pizza. Okay. All right, so you can tell that they're the same size whole. So now we need to look at the question because the question says that Carson eats 3/8 of his pizza. So if he eats 3/8, he's gone. So I'm going to take away 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Then it says that Lydia eats 1/4 of her pizza. So I'm going to take away 1/4 to show how much of her pizza Lydia eats. Okay? The question then says, Carson says he eats the same amount of pizza as Lydia because 3/8 is equivalent to 1/4. Is Carson correct? So what you can do is you can look at the missing pieces of the whole and decide, does it look like they ate the same amount? Another way that you can do it is you can compare the pieces that they did eat. So Carson ate 3/8 and Lydia ate 1/4. Did they eat the same amount? Is Carson correct? Is 3/8 equivalent to 1/4? So I got us started on the lines below. I said Carson is blank because. So I want you to fill that in. Carson is correct or Carson is not correct. And then I want you to tell me why, comparing your fractions. So Carson is correct because, or Carson is not correct because 3/8 is greater than 1/4, 3/8 is less than 1/4, or 3/8 is equal to 1/4. Again, use your fraction circles to help you explain your answer. I would go ahead and pause the video to give yourself time to write your sentence for number one. Okay, great job. Let's take a look at number two. Okay, number two says locate and draw a point on the number line for the fraction. Then write the equivalent fraction. So our first fraction here is 8/8. So you want to find 8/8 on your number line and mark it. So I like to mark it with a big circle. Okay, then your job is to write an equivalent fraction. Equivalent means equal, that's right. So you're looking for a fraction that is equal to 8/8. So up here, you're drawing your number line, okay? And you're noticing, okay, that this whole is cut up into two equal sized parts. So we have 0/2, 1/2, so this should be 2/2, right? So our fraction that is equivalent to 8/8 is 2 halves. So you would fill that in right there. Perfect, great job. I would like you to pause the video now and practice the same thing for number 3. You can use your fraction strips if that's easier to help you build an equivalent fraction. All right, great job working on number 3 by yourself. Let's take a look at number 4 together. Number 4 says, Kiko bakes 2 same-sized pies to sell at a bake sale. She sells 4/6 of the blueberry pie. She sells 2/3 of the apple pie. Are the 2 fractions equivalent? And they want you to draw a visual model or a picture to support your answer. So what I did was I actually traced 2 circles because it was hard for me to draw 2 circles that were equivalent. And then I cut up my first fraction, or I'm sorry, my first 1 whole circle into thirds. So 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. And then I cut this circle into 6ths. Now if I go back into the story, it says that she sells 4/6 of the blueberry pies. So I need to shade 4/6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it says she sells 2/3 of the apple pie. So I need to shade 2/3. So you need to look at your fractions, your circles, and compare them. Is 2/6 the same as 1/3? Okay, so you need to decide, are the fractions equivalent? So your answer down here, you're going to tell me, yes, the fractions are equivalent, or no, the fractions are not equivalent. And I want you to compare them. So 2/3 and 4/6. Okay? If it's easier, please use your fraction circles and build the fractions and compare them that way. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and finish answering number 4 on your own. Okay, great job, friends. Let's go ahead and work on number 6 together, okay? So today, we want to know which fraction is equivalent to 1/3, and we've said many, many times that that equivalent means equal. So what I would like you to do now is I would like you to take out your fraction strips, okay? And I would like you to build the fraction 1/3. And then I would like you to build the fraction 3/8 because you are going to compare 1/3 to 3/8 to see if they are equivalent or to see if they are equal in size. So 1/8, 2/8, and 3/8. Okay? So you tell me, is 1/3 equivalent to 3/8? No, it's not. You can tell that 1/3 is less than 3/8. Fantastic job. So go ahead and put a big X through 3/8 because 3/8 is not equivalent to 1/3. You're going to leave 1/3 here on your paper, and now you're going to find 1/6 and compare it. Pause the video so that you can compare all the fractions until you find the fraction that's equivalent to 1/3. Okay, friends. Great job working on number 6. The last one that we're going to do today is number 7. So it says divide this shape into 2 equal parts. You might want to divide it down the middle this way, or maybe this way. You can decide. And then what unit fraction names each equal part of the shape. So I'm going to cut my shape this way into 2 equal parts, and then you decide what fraction names each part of the shape. Friends, great job working so hard. Thank you. I'll see you later.